talking about how climate may change in the future, there's huge uncertainties, and it's very dependent on very complex models, and all these models don't necessarily agree in some of the details about how things may change in the future. But all the time, climate science is developing, and in the past, the work that the CG has done on trying to assess impacts of what some of these projections actually mean for farming systems in developing countries, we're not making the best use of that information. And so this is one way in which we can really sort of make a quantum leap in our use of climate science, because we can link directly. In fact, the people who are working on these models, who are improving them and evaluating them, they're going to be involved directly in some of our research work. So whereas before it's been the case that we've taken stuff not so much off the shelf, but sort of stuff that's already been made available in the public domain, and that's not necessarily the sort of the most cutting edge science. So this is very exciting from many of our perspectives, because it means that rather than just being an end user somewhere down the track, we can actually have we can make use of better products in our search for trying to find sustainable solutions to the food security issue. But it also means that through time we'll be able to influence the agenda on the climate scientists to say, it's not only that we can use their products, but we can tell them what we really need and what do our stakeholders need. So, for example, what does a policymaker who's working on a NAPA, a national adaptation plan in a country like Kenya, what do those kinds of people really need to help them make better decisions? What do farmers and communities really need to help them adapt better to the changing climate? And then, so we can feed, it's a sort of a two-way flow of information, so we can hopefully have some impact on the future agenda, the science agenda for developing climate information tools that can then better serve everybody in the future. So this sort of two-way flow is actually very exciting, and it's not only in climate science, but with CCAFS it's things like there's this huge community working on vulnerability issues, and how do you define vulnerability, and how can you target sort of the populations who are most at risk from global change and climate change in the future. And there's a huge community we've never even talked to very much. But again, it's the same kind of thing. There's sort of cutting-edge inputs that we'll be able to use and then feed back to these other communities of practitioners, if you like.